guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Cindy Lumpkin, the LD educator, and I know that it has been forever and a day. At least it feels like it. But apparently it turns out that when you're growing a child, you get super tired and you don't feel like doing anything. Well, at least that has been the case for me. But I do want to apologize for all of you who have just been sitting in expectation for my next video and it just never came. And thank you for binging some of my old videos. And for those of you who have more recently discovered me as a result of the series that I am still in, how I started my own school. I definitely will be getting up a couple of more videos in the future, but I had to kind of just take a step back because just really being preggo in quarantine, doing distance learning and running a school has really been tough. It has definitely proven to be a challenge, but I'm almost at the end. I got a little bit of energy today, and so I said I wanted to get in front of you, especially considering that this month is Dyslexia Awareness Month. And dyslexia is one of several specific learning disabilities. And each year we typically, and when I say we, I mean my organization, we do something to really bring awareness to the millions of kiddos who are impacted by specific learning disabilities such as dyslexia. Last year, we were so super proud to bring in an actor from New Orleans, Mr. Amir Baraka. He did a fabulous job. It was just so awesome having him. But here we are with COVID, me being pregnant. We didn't really plan a lot, but I still wanted to do something to raise awareness. And I feel like this is just really the perfect time. You know, as you all know, there is a huge movement for equality across the board right now. And I've spent a lot of my life works with just really bringing awareness to people, particularly the African American community, about learning disabilities, about dyslexia, about dysgraphia, about dyspraxia, all those disabilities that fall under specific learning disabilities, what to look for and how to help your child. And I want to take this opportunity to encourage every teacher and every parent to purchase this book that I'm about to read to you and tell you about and make it a part of your library. Every child needs to see themselves. You know, I've been so encouraged because I've been meeting so many young teachers, elementary school teachers, middle school teachers who are building these awesome libraries of books that include women, men, Black people, brown people, all types of people. And I don't want to miss out on this moment for people to really have books that even cater to that silent group. They call dyslexia the silent disability. Why? Because we don't talk about it. We don't really share this information. There's a lot of stigma surrounding it, but our kids deserve to see themselves. They deserve to know that the challenges that some of them face with reading and doing math and maybe learning in general is not unique to them. And when they understand that it is not just a challenge or issue that they're dealing with, it makes it so much easier to embrace it and to eventually not allow it to hold you back. So I want to read to you a book today called I Define Me. And it's about a young boy named Kyler Eric Smith who happens to be dyslexic and he happens to be African American, but we all can learn from his story, whether you are Hispanic, whether you are Caucasian, whether you are Asian, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't have a disability, all students need to learn about the different things that their classmates may be going through because we need to have greater empathy. We need to have real kids who have compassion. And so I am just so super excited to tell you about Mr. Kyler. He wrote this book himself. Speaking of books, you don't often see many books, dyslexia books at that, out there, particularly written for younger people, that helps them to see themselves and to help them to understand what dyslexia is. But Mr. Kyler actually wrote this book himself, published it. And so, not only do I want to share his story with the hope that you make this book a part of your library, I want all of us to just come together and to really help encourage and inspire Mr. Kyler to continue to share his story. I am going to put a link below where you can click and go purchase this book. And then when you purchase it, you will be supporting Kyler and his efforts to really help other kids to understand what dyslexia is. So without further ado, here is I Define Me by Kyler Eric Smith. I Define Me, written by Kyler Eric Smith, illustrated by Crystal Baldwin. My name is Kyler, and I have dyslexia. I have to work hard to figure out what something says, but it's not because I'm not smart. When I was younger, I would memorize books. I could recite them perfectly from memory and trick people into thinking I was reading the words. Pretty smart, huh? You know who else is smart? My mom. She caught on to the fact that I was memorizing all of my books. She even noticed I often wrote backwards. My parents took me to a doctor who gave me a test. I don't usually like tests, but this one was good. It showed that I have dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dysgraphia. Who knew? I am really smart, but sometimes I have a hard time with my coordination. When I write, sometimes I use big letters that go all the way across the page. Other times, I write letters with no space between them at all. Now that I know what's wrong, I am working hard to correct it. I go to occupational therapy to work on my coordination. It's very cool. I work on puzzles and swing on ropes. I practice picking up items with chopsticks and practice tracing. I even use clay to strengthen my hand muscles. I also use slime to strengthen my hands and to help me focus. I am Slime Master K. I can make slime in all kinds of colors with lots of cool scents. I even created a slime club at my school, and I sell my slime. I love making and playing with slime. It's really fun, and working with it helps me a lot. After I was diagnosed, I moved to a special school for kids with learning differences. Some people might not like going to school, but I love it. The teachers help me read and write and do math. We sing and play the xylophone, and I even get to take theater and hip hop classes. You know what? I even started my own acting club, and we write TV shows. We do sports at school too. Sometimes I bring my soccer ball, and my friends and I kick the ball. Soccer is my favorite sport. I love to run up and down the field. My coaches sometimes give me too many directions, which makes it hard for me to understand what they want me to do. But that's okay. I just do my best and try to score goals. Soon after I started my new school, we had a guest writer come to talk to us. I was just sitting there listening when suddenly I heard the guest call my name in a loud male voice. Kyler! Kyler! Is there a Kyler here? He asked, really loudly. I crawled under my chair and hid. The other kids were pointing at me and calling my name. I didn't know why the guest author was looking for me, but I crawled from under my chair and went to the front of the room where he was. He said, "Hi, Kyler. I hear you have a little trouble reading sometimes." I said, "Yes." "And do you know what?" he said. "That's okay, Kyler. I did too. I didn't learn to read until I was an adult." You know who the author was? He was a really big actor from a really popular 1970s TV show. Wow. It made me feel so good to hear that even famous actors have trouble too. Every day I work on my reading and words. I try to read everything and sound out every word I see. I'm getting so good. I still need to practice and go to tutoring, but it's okay. I know I'm getting better every day. God gave me a different brain, but nothing and no one can hold me back. I am Kyler Eric Smith, and I define me. Wasn't that awesome? I thought so too. And one of the most powerful parts of the book for me was when Kyler said it made him feel so good to know that even famous people have trouble too. Imagine that. Imagine if those 8 or 9 or 10 students who are in your classroom who have learning disabilities, who have a difficult time learning to read, who may have a difficult time writing or doing math. Imagine if they saw Kyler and they read about his story. Imagine how much better they would feel about themselves. And when we feel good about ourselves, oh, the door is open for lots of learning. Another reason why you need this book in your library is because it opens the door for a child to become self-aware. Kyler is super self-aware. And when you're self-aware, you become a much better advocate, self-advocate. And that is a key for any child. If they have an IEP, they have some type of learning difference, learning disability, whatever title or name that you may give it, they have to be self-aware. And that's the only way that they can advocate for themselves. So I encourage you, teachers and parents alike, in the spirit in honor of Dyslexia Awareness Month, please invest in Mr. Kyler. Invest in the students that are in your class. Show your regular ed kids that although there are some kids that are in their class who may not read so well, who may not do math so well, but they're able to write and publish a book. Remember, everyone needs to be seen. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed I Define Me by Mr. Kyler Eric Smith.